links. The Colombian Camilo Villegas took part in the championship after being the first reserve. His progress went more or less unnoticed until he birdied holes 14, 15, 16, and 17.
Don't go left. Don't go left.
After his approach had rattled the 18th flagstick, he had a putt for a startling 65. Villegas holed for a 5th consecutive birdie, and he had completed the lowest round of the week. In the group behind, Greg Norman continued to confound. On the 7th tee, he punched a 4-iron to set up a birdie and followed it with another at the 8th. Norman demonstrated the wisdom of his age and, when in trouble, the brilliance of his youth. His up and down from a horrid lie in the sand at 16 was exemplary. Norman had reminded the world of why he was once the game's leading player, and he received an ovation normally reserved for Sunday afternoon. A 20-footer from the back of the final green was the last of his 70 strokes.
Well, yeah, of course you feel like you're stepping back in time. My expectations were almost nil coming in, to tell you the truth. I hadn't played a lot of golf, but the feeling is phenomenal. There's no question about it.
Also jogging the memory was the sight of an English amateur holding out from the rough on the 18th. Chris Wood from Bristol replicated Justin Rose's infamous shot to finish with a round of level par. Padraig Harrington, meanwhile, had quietly gone about his business and gratefully picked up shots where he could. On the closing holes, he made a significant move. This was for an eagle on the 17th. Clearly, Harrington was not going to relinquish his title easily. At the final hole, he hit his 9-iron 183 yards downwind and holed out for a 68 and a 2-over par total. The defending champion had put the halfway lead. KJ Choi from South Korea had started with a 72. Just before 7 o'clock on Friday evening, he holed a birdie putt to go top of the standings with a 67. After 2 turbulent rounds, Choi was the only player under par. Norman was second, Villegas third. The first round leaders, Mediate, McDowell and Allenby, all dropped back. One of the shots of the day came from the putter of pre-championship favorite Sergio Garcia, who held a huge putt on the 4th. Another fine effort came from Justin Rose at the par 3 12th. However, neither Rose nor Garcia would trouble the top of the leaderboard this year. When the cut came, some familiar faces departed. The man who'd beaten Rose in 1998, Mark O'Meara, would not triumph again. Another Birkdale champion, Tom Watson, missed out by just 1 shot. Other names inscribed on the claret jug to head home included Paul Lawrie and John Daly, who was 29 over par for his 2 rounds. The 2003 champion Ben Curtis clearly thought he was heading for problems at the 3rd hole. His worries proved unfounded, however, as his 9-iron shot held its line and disappeared for the only eagle on the front 9 all week. Curtis was one of only 4 players to achieve a level par score in round 3. Another was the Swede, Henrik Stenson. This putt for a 3 at the 9th put him out in 34. Simon Wakefield elevated himself into 4th spot with his round of 70. 3 birdies coming home would result in the Englishman being one of the last men out on the final day. Also upwardly mobile in the gales were the members of match number 28. Ross Fisher from the home counties shot a 71 and moved from tied 27th to tied 5th. And Fisher's American playing partner Anthony Kim, making his Open debut, matched his achievement on a day littered with double and treble bogeys. Back on the pristine fairways, Padraig Harrington's short game continued to impress. Having come up short on the 5th, he chipped in for birdie 3. Followed by large, enthusiastic galleries, the Irishman then played an imperious tee shot with his 5-iron on the par 3 7th to set up another birdie. Harrington holed out on the 18th for a 72 and examined the leaderboard. At 2:15, Harrington arrived on the first tee. He shook hands with Norman, and they embarked on the first act of the afternoon's drama.
The tee shot on this opening hole is the toughest opening tee shot I've ever played in golf under these conditions. It's brutal, and you just make one little mistake and you could find yourself starting off on a bad foot big time.
Norman's tee shot found the fairway. Harrington's, the light rough. And so it began. The Australian was the first to falter.
I did wrong.
His approach found the front right bunker. Harrington had also missed the green with his second shot. However, his chip was executed to perfection.
First hole was a key moment, but I chipped it stone dead from about 35 yards. It was always nice to start with a par, got you off on the right footing.
Norman escaped from the bunker, but couldn't stop his ball close to the flag. His par putt burnt the edge of the hole, and he'd made the poor start he'd feared. Of the early starters, David Howell was the first man to post a clubhouse target. He was round in the day's best 67, which included an eagle 3 at the 17th. Another Englishman, Paul Casey, matched Howell on 12 over par. This pitch into the hole at the 15th garnered 2 shots back from the course. And Ernie Els made a fine recovery after his first day woes with a final round 69. He eventually recorded yet another top 10 finish at the Open. Greg Norman's nervous start continued at the second hole. With Harrington in for a par, the Australian was faced with a testing putt to avoid dropping another shot. The lead was now shared. Ahead, the amateur Chris Wood had reached the 7th. Playing with Ian Poulter, he hit an impressive tee shot into the par 3. Elsewhere, Simon Wakefield made up for a dropped shot at the first with a straightforward birdie after this approach to the 5th. Chris Wood converted his opportunity to record a 2 at the 7th. He was one of only 8 players to birdie this hole on the final day. But Norman's headaches continued, and he'd missed the green again at the 3rd. Harrington also sent his approach off target, and his bunker shot, although well directed, scuttled past the flag. However, the putt was successful, and Harrington had started with 3 par 4s. When Norman subsequently missed his putt for par, Padraig Harrington led the 2008 Open for the first time. In match number 37, the players were inspiring each other. England's Ian Poulter had dropped 2 shots by the time he reached the 9th, but played a tidy approach to the green. His playing partner, Wood, bettered it. At 10 over par, Poulter had an outside chance, but needed to make a move. He had launched his challenge. Chris Wood followed him in. He was not only on course for the silver medal awarded to the leading amateur, he was just 3 shots off the lead. The crowd at the 9th were treated to a 3rd birdie in quick succession when the following match arrived. Also moving in the right direction was Henrik Stenson. Poulter's charge gathered momentum after he turned for home. His approach to the 11th would result in another birdie, taking him to 8 over, while the leaders were beginning to struggle. Having serenely negotiated the first 6 holes, Harrington began to falter. At the short 7th, he dragged his tee shot left and subsequently made his first bogey of the round. At the 8th, he missed a short putt and dropped another shot. And at the 9th, he was out of position from the tee and again failed to find the green in regulation. Harrington had relinquished 3 shots in as many holes. When Norman nudged in his par putt for an outward 38, the Australian led again. Ahead, the consistent Jim Furyk was at the 18th. His first-class up and down from the sand gave him a 71 and the clubhouse lead at 10 over par. As the leaders turned for home, Norman was just 9 holes from victory. Poulter was now third, but dropped shots on 11, 12 and 13 had seen Chris Wood fall away. Ben Curtis hit a splendid approach to the second, but it went downhill from there. He came back in 39 and never threatened to win his second claret jug. England's Ross Fisher also faded. He stumbled home in 43 and finished tied for 39th. Anthony Kim remained in contention for much of the day, but a 5-6-5 finish saw him share 7th spot. The members of the penultimate group also disappeared from the leaderboard. Simon Wakefield ran up an 8 coming home and carded a 79. As did his playing partner KJ Choi, who bogeyed 6 of the first 9 holes. None of these men would be Open champion. The wind continued to sing its song as it had all week. On the 10th green, it was again causing problems, but Harrington sank a demanding putt to stop the rot. When Norman bogeyed, the lead was again tied at +7. Harrington's body language suggested that he'd steadied the ship. But ahead, Poulter was in full flight. Having missed out on a birdie at the straight 4